Hey everyone, my name's Daxx George, and I've been a voiceover artist for many, many years, working in many different genres of voice. Pretty much anything that requires a voice, I work it. But one of the areas of voice that's kept me the busiest through the years, and one of the busiest right now, is dubbing. And this is part 2 of a series of 2 on dubbing. Now, in part 1, my wife Jessica G. George, who's the beautiful half of the voiceover dynamic duo, and my son Daxx George, who's one of our 2 boy wonders, showed you more of ADR and chasing the action. In this particular episode, we're going to bring you a little bit more about dubbing. Dubbing's pretty cool, so let's show you the process. Come on, I'm going to take you into a couple of different studios and show you how they do it. It all starts with the adaptation. Here we go. When a project is being localized or dubbed into English, the script is first translated from the original language into English. So in this example here, I have a film script from Spain. Here are all the original Spanish lines in this column here, and here are the literal translations of those lines down in this column. So take a look at this one line here. Ladies and gentlemen, bienvenidos a este vacilón, which translated literally into English is, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this party. Or how about this line down here where the literal translation is, don't drink yet, okay? It's just one per person. So it's not exactly how we speak, right? So then the script gets adapted by an adapter whose goal it is to turn the literal translation into common everyday English we would hear in real life, and also match the lip flaps. So the line, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this party, then becomes something like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the cruise. And the other line, don't drink yet, okay, it's just one per person, would become something like, hey, pace yourself, honey, it's 1 drink per person. It really boils down to having a great adapter. See, the whole process is to obviously make it sound like this is the original language that this film was shot in. That requires the adapter doing great work, the actor doing great work, the mix sounding great, and the production teams can really save a lot of money when they hire a great adapter, because then you're not spending all the extra studio time and actor time in the booth coming up with all these little rewrites on the fly. All right, now, you guys ready to go in and do some dubbing? We're going to start with anime. All right, so here's a typical script that you would see in the booth when you went to work on an anime project, or any dubbing project for that matter. Over here, you have the loop number in the left-hand column. This is the time code column, which tells you where in the time code that line actually takes place. This is your character column. Tells you which character is speaking. Sometimes everything is sorted just by your character, and that's all you see. And other times you get to see the entire script, so you really can see the context of what your lines mean against the other lines of the other characters. And then over here are the lines, also known as cues, also known as loops. It's pretty much all the same thing. First, you preview the clip.
よし、元安お兄さんが常識の範囲で教えてあげよう。
Then you go back to the line and try to put it to memory. All right, Big Bro Moriyasu's going to get you up to speed on the basics. You'll hear a series of 3 beeps, and then you'll go on the 4th imaginary beep. All right, Big Bro Moriyasu's going to get you up to speed on the basics. So again, you're going to hear 3 beeps, and then on the 4th beep, the imaginary beep that you won't hear is your cue to start the action. So it will go beep, 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 action. Now, let's take a look at something else that they use in dubbing called the rhythmo band. This is a little more complex, but it's kind of cool. Come on, let's go into the studio and look. All right, here we are in another studio where I'm working with something called the rhythmo band. Now, basically the band is like having the whole scene with all the speaking characters' lines scrolling along the bottom like karaoke. So you look for your character's name in the band, and as your line meets this red line here, that's your cue to start that line. So it's the same concept as the 3 beeps, but instead of beeps and speaking on the imaginary 4th beep, your action starts when the line touches the red line. So I'm guessing you're one of the best. At this studio, the lines are in cursive, and when the letters are scrunched together, the dialogue is delivered quickly. When the words are spread wider, you hang on to those words a little longer than normal so that it times out with the duration of the line and matches the lip flap. The rhythmoband is great in the sense that as an actor you get to stay immersed in the full energy of the scene from beginning to end. And it's also faster because you can bang out a lot of lines in a shorter amount of time than going one line at a time. The only drawbacks are that you can't really watch the character on screen as well as when you work line by line, memorizing the lines so you can focus on your performance rather than reading. But you do somewhat have sort of a peripheral view of the action on screen, however. So I like both ways of doing it. They are real skills that require doing it and getting more fluid on every job. So as you can see, dubbing is definitely a very fine skill that takes just a lot of work to really refine. And since Jessica and I have been doing it for many, many years, a lot of times we can kind of grab it on the preview. So instead of just watching a preview, sitting there watching the whole scene play out, if it's on the rhythmoband, a lot of times we can just roll it and get a lot of the stuff on the first take, especially when you're talking about like the breaths and all the efforts that go in between the lines, which is similar to what Daxx was showing you about chasing the action on the first part. So there you are. That's dubbing, and I hope you learned a little bit more about this process and hope to see you out there someday on the soundstage.